Alright, hey everybody, this is Neil here. Welcome to the next lesson in Copy Crash Course, Market Research. Okay, in this lesson we're going to break down everything you want to know about the market you're in or thinking about entering. Okay, um, and all of this is predetermined research. A lot of times before I would enter a niche, I'd already been kind of researching it steadily for a period of time and gaining more and more interest over time, right? You may be taking on a client or ready to just dive right in. So this is kind of the blueprint if you want to just run through and get it ready. But you want to have a solid foundation of, what I call pre-existing information before you go to write your copy, right? Like I said in the previous video, you want to give yourself the absolute best chance for your copy to succeed. And in doing that, you need to arm yourself with as much information as possible, okay? Without, going overboard, of course. Okay, so key things that you want to identify during the market research period, right? Who is your competition and what are they doing, right? Not necessarily what they're saying, what are they doing, right? Are they, how are they selling it? What are they selling? What price points? All those types of things, right? You do want to pay attention to, the type of copy that they're using so that you don't duplicate it or, you can also gives you a chance to figure out a way to do better than them, right? But pay more attention to what they're doing, okay? The good and bad you see from those competitors, if don't necessarily say everything about it that what they're doing is bad and how you can do it all different. You don't need to be completely different. Obviously, what they're doing is working for them to an extent if they're up and running and generating profits, right? So, how you can differentiate yourself is the key, and what's largely known as your unique selling position, which I'm going to get to on my fifth bullet point there. But you want to be thinking all along, how can I differentiate myself? What's going to make people want to attract to me or my client and my brand versus their other options that they have. And in this day and age, you better believe consumers have options, right? Almost any market you enter is, there's competition these days, right? So how can you differentiate yourself from the crowd? What is your unique selling position? What is the unique selling position for your product? What is the thing that it does differently or better than anything else out there like it? Okay. And if you're an information marketer or a software producer or a coder or something, anything like that, where you can kind of create your own thing, that's great because what you want to look for is holes in the marketplace, right? Something that's not there that can be created, right? Whereas if you're promoting physical products or e-commerce, that's a little different. You have to go and source those products, right? If you're becoming an affiliate for a product, most likely they already have the unique selling position defined. All you need to do is pre-sell and lead up to that and let the sales copy do the work, right? But this is more about actually creating the copy for the product and even the product itself, right? Because you're actually marketing and copywriting to an extent within an information marketing product as well, right? It's verbal, it's written, it's, all kinds of stuff, right? So bottom line, you want to figure out what your unique selling position is, and you also want to identify your ideal customer and what they are doing online. This is going to be very, very key. These bottom two bullet points are two of the biggest. You want to make sure you know who exactly you're targeting and what they're doing online. In the next video, we're going to go a little more into depth about figuring out what their hot buttons are, what's going to drive them, inspire them to take action, and the benefits that your solution can have to them, and how to define those and how to separate all that stuff in the next video. But in this phase, you want to identify who that person is, so. And we're going to do that here. We'll jump online in just a second. I'll show you how we do that. So the key things to look for as well, and these are just things you want to pay attention to. So value, what is the value in the niche, long term, short term? Is it something that's going to fade away, or what is the value of your product compared to somebody else's? Like I said, you want to look at exactly what people are offering. If it's a bundle package of something, what exactly is included, right? And how much is that worth to the customer? The volume, how much traffic is there in the niche, right? Just because maybe you're not able to rank number one on Google, you just need to know that there is a sizable volume of traffic. You can go in there and grab a slice of it, right? Trends, is this a niche that's traveling upward, traveling downward, or something that's probably going to be around steady over time? Is it evergreen, right? Is it seasonal? These are all things that are important to know, okay? Pricing, low and high. What's the range in your market? What's the highest biggest fish selling for, and what's the smallest little thing going for, and what in between, and what's the, the flex point, or the, the sweet spot, as I like to call it, right? And that's where you want to kind of build your funnel around, you know, uh, fitting in the marketplace. You want to add enough value, that people are going to be happy to jump at your price versus the competitors, without going overboard. Okay. Positioning. How are they positioning their offer? Are a lot of people using free trials? Is that, something that's popular in this market? Are a lot of people doing, buy one, get one free deals? Or, because if there's common things that people are doing, and common ways they're positioning themselves, that might be something that's been proven to work in that niche over time, and you might want to pursue that as well. Not only that, you want to find a way that you can position yourself slightly different. So if everybody's playing the, whatever it is, guru role in your niche, maybe, you play the free content person role, and you don't make anybody pay for anything, and you become a fan, build rapid fans like that. Okay. It just depends on what people are doing around you, and then you can build your positioning based on that. So not necessarily, that you can build your positioning however you want. It helps to know how everybody else is positioning themselves, right? Commonalities, right? This is what I was talking about with the free trials, or verbiage in the copy. Are there certain things that just sort of speak to that market? If you go into the real estate market, a lot of the promotions are similar. You see promos for houses, they're all pretty similar. Picture of the person, I can sell your house, and then you can find ways to be different from those people, and you can also, there's something to do with the user being comfortable with a certain type of marketing. So to an extent, you don't want to be so different that you turn people away, right? You just want to be a little different that you pique their interest. So it's important to notice the commonalities in the marketing in your market or niche, okay? Consumer feedback. What are people saying, right? One way you can do that is you can find forums in the niche. That's also a great way to come up with ideas for products and solutions. But also you can see what people are saying about other brands, products. You can search for, XYZ product review, and see what people are saying. You can also read blogs and articles, and comment feeds below articles, to find that information. And again, this is I just kind of take it all in, and if I start to hear the same type of thing over and over and over, then I can start to, build that into my plan of, okay, either do touch on this, or oh, stay away from that, because they don't want to, that's a touchy subject with that group, right? And those things can help you, right? So all around, those are some of the main things you want to look for. I'm going to jump online here in just a second and do that. Like I said in the beginning, it's important you have a thorough understanding of your customers' pre-existing knowledge about you and your competitors before you start crafting your marketing message. There's no reason in telling them something that's repetitive or redundant that they already know, right? And you want to appeal to, and you want to be able to curb their objections as well. You want to be able to appeal to what interests them, and you also want to be able to curb their objections that they may have, or in their head about you or your type of business or your company or whatever, pre-existing ahead of time, right? So all that information is key, and everything I'm talking about, all those bullets I just laid out, it depends on the kind of person you are. The kind of person that I am, for the most part, a lot of that sort of just saturates in my mind, and when my copy comes out, I know to keep an eye on these things, right? But I'm a heavy note taker, and I like to do it on paper, so that's why you don't see me doing it, on my computer, because I won't go back really and look at the notes on my computer, whereas I will flip back through my notebook, or my stack of note cards, or my whiteboard, right? So those are my three big ones. So bottom line, take the notes that you need so you can refer back to it if it's more information than you're used to kind of processing all at once when creating your, a marketing plan. Okay, so those are the main things. Let's go ahead and jump online. I'm going to pause this, and I'll see you on the internet. Okay, so first things first, you want to use your Google keyword tool, or your favorite keyword tool that might give you similar data. The thing that you're looking for right off the bat, and this is something I wouldn't even really worry about in the golf niche, or there's certain niches you just know they're lucrative, right? Real estate's lucrative, golf is lucrative, how to lose weight is lucrative, and so forth. So you can almost skip that step, but you want to be able to just take a look at the search volume and cost per click. Cost per click is a great indicator of how valuable a niche is. If people are willing to pay $8 a click for golf schools, it's probably because golf schools cost a lot of money, and you can actually make a lot of money if you were an affiliate for them, or if you ran one, or whatever the case is, right? So you can see all these different how-to keywords and so forth are pretty expensive. How to learn this, and they're, $2 to 265 per click, right? So they're making good money on the back end once they turn, these customers or these clicks into leads and sales and buyers, right? So the big thing is you just want to be able to see, is there a high search volume? There's 40,000 people a month searching, different things about their golf swing, okay? You also want to look for competition. Competition is good. Don't be afraid of it. Competition means that people are going there and competing because there's money to be made, right? And you can out market them with better copy, and you can also get the traffic from various sources. This day and age, you can get traffic from YouTube ads, you can get traffic from Facebook dirt cheap, Twitter, the list goes on. So don't be afraid of competition. Actually, you want to make sure there is some. Okay. All right. So one second, and now we'll dive into kind of the meat and potatoes here. All right, cool. I just had to switch around my windows there real quick. Okay, so what you want to do here is, this is Google Trends. This is just another thing, like I said, you want to check out the trends. You can just gather some more information about the niche very quickly from this site. So let's say learn to play golf. It used to be formerly, I guess, Google Insights. They kind of just combined them, it seems like. So interest over time. Not only this, but it shows you seasonal interest as well. So you can see, during the winter months, obviously for golf, the interest isn't nearly as high. So this is somewhat of a seasonal niche. Although you might have some spikes for Christmas and different things like that, right? And you can see that the overall, over time has kind of declined. It could just be that luxury sports and, with the economy dropping down, there's a lot of things that could factor in, right? It's just good for you to know. For me personally, I wouldn't not enter this niche just because it's declined somewhat. Golf is still a very lucrative niche. I mean, you saw 40,000 people a month are searching for golf swing related stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't let that scare you. This will show you, where the bulk of the traffic comes from. Shocking, the United Kingdom and United States, right? And then usually down here, this will also, so I put in a little bit too broad of a keyword, so let's just put golf swing, see how that goes. So that gives you a little bit of a different outlook there, right? So you can obviously just move your change around your keywords to get different results. So here you go. You can check out not only top keywords and see what they are, and this is important for if you have a content-based site, and then you can also look at rising stuff, right? So YouTube golf swing, maybe, and you can find a way to mix this into your marketing or your SEO and stuff like that as well. So just valuable information that can help you. Like I said, you want to get as much information as you can. So like what I like to do is, let's go over here and go with improve golf swing. Okay, so a couple things I'm looking at right off the bat. Is there a lot of ads? Yes, there's a lot of ads. So we know there's a lot of people paying money, but we already know that because we looked at Google. Now I'm looking at 4 million results, right? That's 4.7 million results for that particular topic. So there's a lot of people competing for this traffic, okay? You could also do the in URL, search to narrow that down if you want to see how many people have that, specific keyword in their actual headline or title, right? Still 18,000 people going after that particular keyword. So that's good. There's a lot of competition, which is what you want to see. Okay, so now here's where you start to kind of reverse engineer it, and I did two different searches here, just to kind of get two different results, right? So you want to look for, like I said, commonalities in their marketing, commonalities in what they're saying, because it's most likely going to be similar things that are going to appeal to people that are searching or looking for this type of information. Okay, fairly common sense stuff. So what I'm looking for usually is authority sites, right? I want to see what the authority sites are looking like. So I know Golfsmith is a big one. How are they leading them there, right? What does the site look like? The look, the feel, the colors. Because most likely, I mean, sites that have been around for a while have high traffic, have a lot of data to work and improve on, and so you can work off of their experience, so you know that your customers are kind of looking for a light and easy site with green, most likely related to golf. They like information. You can see a lot of them have tips, Um, and as much information as possible, but it's all mixed in with golf swing training, golf fitness and exercise, equipment. I'm sure there's tons of upsells on equipment and accessories, balls, bags, training, the works, right? So, but you see what they're doing is they're using the information to get them to the site, right? And then these are articles that lead them here, and now they start reading around, they buy stuff, they sign up here for their email. This is like their lead magnet, right? Get a deal. Different places have different things. So let's pull up a couple more just to see the difference in example. So this is clearly a marketing type of site. Let's see. Sorry, folks, I lost my. There we go. Let's go over here and check out, how about Golf Digest, right? So here's a good one. This is another informational site. So you just want to see how similar, so this is the, if I was entering the golf niche, or I had a how-to product in the golf niche, or, all these things, right? And, they don't always have to be your competitors. You might come across people who say, hey, this my product or my service is a perfect complement for what they're doing, and maybe I can get them to promote it for me, right? So those are other things that you're looking at as well. Because at the end of the day, everything we're doing, the goal is to generate sales for whatever product or service it is that you're building this marketing for, right? So everything you pick up along the way can help you, okay? So golf coaching blog, learn golf online, so you see you've got a lot of different, let's check out the golf channel, right? So now we got three kind of major sites. We got Golf Digest. Again, they have the magazine kind of blog look and feel, but really, and obviously with what they have here is their newsletter. And again, you're going to get promotions from these different places, but courses and travel, equipment, most likely these are advertising setups and so forth. So what I'm really looking for, like I said, is look and feel, how they're appealing to the customer with good information, and then how they're marketing to them, what is their copy about. One of the commonalities you're noticing here is the newsletter thing, right? So one way maybe you could stand out in this niche would be to give away a free ebook. Nobody's really doing that. So you can step in here and kind of offer, 15 tips to improve your golf. You can get paid to have somebody make that for you, and then immediately now you can stand out, amongst the crowd here, right? So this is the golf channel. Maybe this isn't the best example of the golf channel, but you just want to get a feel for what your niche is watching. Let's do one that's really probably a good one here. Um, golf tips. Golf tips. Okay, so here's a magazine related to golf tips. Let's see if we can find, the other thing I like to really reverse engineer too is the affiliate marketing people. If they're ranking these videos on page one of Google, most likely you can backtrack where they're, coming from, and find what products they're selling. And sometimes that's a great way to find different products and services that you can market to your niche, right? So but this is, again, this is golf.com, so they're using a combination of video and text. They've got all kinds of equipment and different things that you can buy here, as well, instructions. The list goes on: shopping, shoes, apparel, irons, putter, bags. So you can see this is, again, they're marketing heavily, and they're using it all through the information, the means of information. So if I was building a plan here, I'd be building my funnel around my front end that's going to give away free information, and then a little more free information, and then it seems like training is the way to go, and then you'd want to upsell to, sweet drivers and maybe a discount deal on irons and all that kind of thing, right? So that's the kind of funnel you obviously would want to build in this niche, because you can see that it's working for all of these different types of people. Okay, so enough of that. Really, that's the basics of what I want to get there. A couple more things I wanted to point out on Facebook. So let's say, for example, I wanted to go for golf tips on Facebook, if it's gonna let me type. Golf tips magazine, right? So let's just say I wanted to go, I usually like to go see all results. And you can see, okay, so what you're looking for here is, is there a lot of fans? So if I'm going to build up a fan base for this on Facebook, am I going to be able to build a bunch of users? So for this, it doesn't look like there's a fan pages with crazy amounts of people because, maybe golf is for a little bit older people, so there maybe not as many of them on, on Facebook. You could try some different searches, um, just try golf on its own maybe, or, something like that. Let's see if what comes up for golf. And again, because you also, so golf, you've got 7 million people here who like this, so obviously that's going to work. And then something else you can do is you can go and you can actually visit the page. So let's say I want to go check this page out. Let's say, maybe, okay, so this is a bad example, excuse me. This is just a basic golf page. So what I want to do is I want to pick a page that's like, golf channel. Let's see what the, if there's a conversation going on is what I'm looking for, okay? So you see here on the right hand side, want to hear what people are commenting about, what people are posting about, see what these guys are promoting, how they're using their Facebook to drive traffic back to their site, and so forth. So it can give you just a feel for the type of customer. You can check out people that are commenting. You kind of, if you really wanted to go far with it, you could look into their portfolio and see, what kind of, or I mean their profile, and see what type of person that, is more common than not that you're dealing with it, right? And that leads me to what we're about to talk about in a second. But before I get to that, I want to bring up also YouTube, okay? YouTube is a great place, like I said, to reverse engineer people's marketing sites. So if they're ranking #1 on YouTube for popular terms, and they've got instructional videos, and then they've got a link below that video, most likely that link is going to take you to an affiliate offer or blog or something that they're promoting, and this can give you more knowledge about the niche, right? And you just want to get, like I said, as much as possible. So this guy's link is just not working, so we're going to pass on you. So let's try this guy, okay? Maybe it's just my web, I guess. Let me pause for 1 second so I don't make you wait while it loads. Okay, so that actually, it wasn't my internet. It had nothing to do with my internet. It just had to do with these two links not working. It was the same guy's link, I realized. So I just clicked this guy's link, and this takes you to golf swing secrets, right? So discover the secret to hitting the ball, da da da. And you can read through this, and always what you can do is you can scroll down. You can try to, sometimes get in a feel for, um, you know, who's behind this and where can you find the affiliate program, right? Um, Looks like a ClickBank product to me, okay, based on the affiliate link up here, okay. Anyways, and so you can go to ClickBank and you could find that product. Again, like I said, you can reverse engineer, see how people are marketing. You could watch this video, see what this guy's done, and see if that's something that you can use in your marketing, okay. The correct swing, how to play golf, right? So you can see what keywords he's using, all that type of stuff. All right, so at the end of the day, before this video goes on way too long, the one thing you really want to identify, so your unique selling position, how can I be unique? All right, so not only is my course going to teach you how to perfect your golf swing, but it's also going to teach you how to, birdie every other hole like clockwork, or, how to hit a longer, further drive, or, whatever the case is, right? So that's your unique selling position. You have your unique method for marketing it. You're going to build an ebook that's going to be more interesting than just a simple newsletter, and then you can market that ebook effectively, right? And that's how you're going to get leads in your funnel, and you're going to sell them your big how-to course and all the affiliate stuff that you have set up for your drivers and your irons and all that, right? So who exactly are you going to sell it to, right? Who is the person that is most likely to buy this stuff? Who's the most likely person to see your ebook and be like, yep, man, I want that. I'm going to opt in, and I want more info about that. And once you identify that person, you're going to be speaking, directly to them. This is something that's helped me so much. Once you identify who your one, ideal person is, focus your marketing on that person, right? Focus like everything you're doing on, would this entice this person? Would this appeal to this person, this type of person? And then it makes it easier than trying to, how do I make everybody want to buy my thing, right? Sometimes you are trying to appeal to a wider audience, but, that just depends on the situation, okay? So this is Quantcast. If you go to the homepage, it just gives you an option to plug in a URL. You can see I just put golf.com in here. Okay, just to give us what we're looking for is we want the demographics. Okay, we want to know who is the target market. If your target market is largely female and you're writing words that a male would more be interested in or attracted to, you're losing, right? You want to appeal to the female if that's the most likely person to buy it. You don't want to completely diss the male who might buy it, but you want to focus on the female customer, right? And you see this happening in marketing every day. So if you've been marketing for a while, this might not be brand new news to you, okay? So the key things that I'm looking for is age group, female or male, has kids or doesn't have kids, doesn't always have an application, it just depends. Income level definitely has an application. Education level has an application. And race, not quite as much. Location around the world sometimes does as well, and so forth. So you want to get as much information about the market as you can. One of the easiest ways to do that is to take one of the most popular websites in the niche, plug it into a demographics tool like Quanticast. It'll quickly give you this information. So by now, I know that, okay, I'm targeting largely male, in their older 45 plus to 60s, college graduates with decent income. And now when I go to sit down and write the next phase where I start to identify the key benefits that my product or my solution can offer this ideal customer, I can begin to figure out how to position it to them when I sit down and think through what it most interests them, what are they, most likely to take action on, and what have they proven already based on their previous, experience. Like, you in dealing with these types of customers before, they've already shown an interest in X, Y, and Z, and from there we can appeal to that similar interest, right? So, for example, if they're looking for golf tips and da 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 da, you already know that they're looking to improve their golf game, right? And they're older guys, so you can kind of assume maybe they're more simpler, straight to the point. One of the easiest ways to do it is try to compare them to somebody in your life. Like for example, this group is largely like my grandfather, right? So, what kind of marketing would appeal to my grandfather? Long, cheesy, hypey stuff that would turn them off, right? He just wants to get the info and get to the point. And so you can kind of use that tactic to identify some of those traits in people in your target market, okay? And again, you want to read comments and so forth. So like if I was reading on these blogs, another thing you can do if this one didn't have it, but some of these different blog posts and so forth will have tips and or not tips, excuse me, comment threads below them where customers have commented or they want to learn more about this, or they did or didn't like this about the post, and so forth. So and maybe if you want to do that, what you might want to search is blogs, okay, to get that information a little bit more. You want to go to blogs or forums, okay? So anyways, long story short, that is just a broad overview of how I gather information, the things I'm looking for, and ultimately what I'm now beginning to coagulate, or what's beginning to come together is the pitch to this person, okay? So in the next thing, we're going to break down our ideal customer and how we can craft our message to them. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.